I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and today we're working with the Jelly Braid triangles on our roll paper. You're going to love this product. The Jelly Braid paper comes in a 9-inch size and a 5-inch size. They both work with jelly rolls. Today we're working with Nantucket Summer by Camille Ross Kelly, and this is what the 9-inch jelly roll paper is going to look like after I show you how to make it. Pick the size of jelly braid paper you want to use and grab a jelly roll, and let's get started. So I have my jelly roll that I've selected, and I have starched all of these fabrics and let them completely dry. When you open your jelly roll paper, there are instructions. You're going to want to make sure you save these, and this is what we're going to follow to start. We're working with the 9-inch jelly braid paper, and we need to cut our fabrics into 9-inch strips. So I'm just going to lay this very casually on the cutting table, and I'm just going to lay my ruler here. That is about 9 inches, and I'm going to cut. And that is what we're going to start with. And depending on how long you want your strips to be, the more strips you cut, the longer your paper is going to be. Now you see I have the salvages left on. I'm just going to make sure that those are on the edge and that I don't sew those in. Now also, for the very first piece, I do need one 2.5-inch square. I'm just going to cut a 2.5-inch square and cut it on the diagonal once, and that is going to be the piece that we start with. Now you'll take your paper, open it, and then where there is a dotted line, cut there. If you don't cut here, your paper project is not going to work. So to be honest, that is the hardest part of this entire series, is that. And then I'm just gonna cut off about right here. And so this is about as long as we're gonna make the paper today, just to show you how to use it. And what I think is best is to take an add a quarter ruler and just crease where all of the solid lines are. Now that we've creased everything, you can see where to start on the back, and you will see a tiny little triangle that looks like this. That is where you're starting. So I'm going to put some glue right there, place this down, and you just want to make sure that you are at least 1/4 inch away on both sides. We're going to start here. We're going to add number 1. You're going to place number 1 down here. And you're gonna see there will be leftover fabric. You can use that for later because your bigger strips get into the body of it. So from here, I'm gonna keep that right sides together, and I'm gonna go to my sewing machine, use a size 90 needle. I'm gonna start before the star about 1/4 inch, stitch all the way across and off the paper. I'm gonna use a really small stitch length, so I'm gonna use like a 1.5 stitch length. So you can see where I started 1/4 inch before and I sewed off the paper. Then you're gonna turn your paper over, and I'm gonna be using the quick press seam roller. You can use an iron if you want. Just make sure you're not using any steam, and just cut any excess off and save it for the future. Turn that back over, use your add a quarter ruler, crease it right there, pull it back, trim 1/4 inch away. And this is important because you don't wanna have a lot of bulk behind this when you start pulling the paper off. So we've added strip 1. Now we're gonna add strip 2. So I'm gonna add that just like this. You flip it over. I've made sure that this light blue goes over this seam by at least 1/4 inch. I'm gonna start 1/4 inch away and go off the paper. So you've sewn that. What I want to do before I press to one side is I just want to make sure that this is no larger than 1/4 inch seam. So just trim it down just a little bit and then press. And now we're going to go back to strip 1. So you go back here. Basically you're just rotating between 1 and 2. Trim 1/4 inch away, and then add a strip here. You just hold it in place. If you want, you could put pins, and then you're gonna sew on the line 1. This looks like it is not larger than 1/4 inch, so I can just press and keep adding the strips. And as I'm adding, I'm trying to just kind of alternate the fabrics a little bit so I don't have 2 of the same prints right next to each other. So now I'm going to just keep adding, and you're basically alternating between strip 1, strip 2, all the way down, and you will go as far as you want. You can make these super long, super short, and I'm going to show you what it looks like once you have all the strips added. So this is what one of the papers look like once you've sewn all of them together. You'll want to trim the left, the right, and the side. We have a lot of patterns coming soon with this that will tell you what size to cut. And this is a really good design for your scrappy quilts. After you have it trimmed, then you're gonna pull the paper off. The best thing to do is just pull this back and go just from one side to the next. And you'll just continue until it's all gone. You're just gonna be alternating from side to side, and this paper is gonna just pull right off. If it's not, then I would do a shorter stitch length. So taking the paper off is super simple, and this is how it is going to look once you have the paper off. It is so pretty, and I can totally see it in so many different projects. We are so excited to bring you this new Triangles on a Roll paper at Fat Quarter Shop. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see what you make with this paper.